Hello, everybody. It's Michael Finkley with The Michael Finkley Show.
And I'm Nicole with Conversations with Nicole. You can join me Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on all of my streaming platforms.
Well, Nikki, don't forget about The Michael Finkley Show, Mondays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the CTR Media Network.
Join us.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ed Piotrowski with ABC15, and you're watching The Michael Finkley Show.
The next Michael Finkley, LaVon Lewis is with us. Tells us about his time on Peacock's Queen's Court. Why didn't he get married? And talks of his new publication, Monday.
There's a new familiar face this time. Say hello to the new daytime. See it everywhere you go. New and the greatest show. It's no other than the Michael Finkley Show. There is no other. He's like no other. I'm so glad that someone resonates with me. Come celebrate with me. Let's do it together.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Michael Finkley Show. Now, y'all, my next guest, you have seen him. I'm sure you have on the reality series, The Queen's Court, Season 1. And then Newfound Arthur as well, but he's going to talk about all of that and so much more. He is none other than LaVon Lewis. How are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Like I said before we started, super uber well fantastic. We'll stick with that because that works for me.
That's always good. Always good.
I just appreciate you so much for being with us, and I was introduced to you by this reality series. And just watching it and just seeing the person that you are, right? As well, and just doing some more research on you. And it's just like, you're just this super cool, calm, authentic dude. Like, this dude is he's just him. And that's a rarity as we see in 2024, but we're going to get into it, I promise you. So I got to start off with this question. How do you define love?
Oh, wow. Easy question, but hard at the same time. Simple thing. I define love by, if you love somebody, I think if you're willing to make sacrifices that you haven't made for other people, I think that's a sign that that's love. And I think love is a choice. I'll leave you with that.
Why only a choice?
Well, there's emotions involved, but I think when you're married in a relationship, love somebody, you have to make that decision every day, every week, every hour, every argument, every situation. You have to make the decision like, you know what? I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to have good conflict resolution skills. I'm going to be here. This is who I want to be. This is who I want to sacrifice for. And I think you have to make that choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like the way you said that, because sometimes when we think as humans, right, this concept of love, it can mean so many different things to so many different individuals. But I love the way you sounded that up, right, for self and through your experiences. And how has love been through your experiences?
Great. I was married for about 15 years. I got married at 24. So very young. Met my ex-wife at 22, married at 24. And we decided to get a divorce at 37. Now, some people think that divorce is always a bad thing, but sometimes you truly, may get married young, maybe you don't quite align. And when you discover that, you can sit down and have a mature conversation about, hey, we should go, our separate ways. So I've had a lot of luck when it comes to love. And then in cases where, it did not work, I don't consider it unlucky. I just consider it as a case where, I always look for a lady that wants the same and values the same things that I want. Mm-hmm. So if you don't find that, you're not unlucky, you just didn't find it. So that's how I define it.
I gotcha. And even after you were married for 15 years, you were single for 5 years before you attended this, before we saw you on our television screens, correct?
Well, people define single different ways, right? When I say single, I did date, but I wasn't technically married. You see what I'm saying? Right. So yeah, I dated, but yeah. And then this reality series, Queen's Court on Peacock, they just really DM'd me one day, and say, hey, we're from Will Packer Studios and NBC. We looked at your profile. We want you to be on this show. And I tell a lot of people, I thought it was a scam. That my first reply was, is this fake? And they say, no, this is not fake. And then we commenced, and 4 months of interviews and, tests and background checks. Here we are.
I gotcha. And in this series, right, we see what the series is about, right? I actually watched the show, and trying to find that next person, right? That true person for ourselves. You're such an introvert.
Yeah.
How did you make it through while millions watched you in this series?
Well, I had to make a decision. So, no, what I really did, honestly, because I live in Atlanta, but I'm originally from Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I've told a few people this. What I did a month before the show, this may be a little unorthodox. I went home to my mom's house and lived in my bedroom to get regrounded, because I've never been on TV. So I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if people are going to fight. I don't know if there's going to be, I don't know who the women are. I don't know anything. So I decided whatever happens before, on, or after the show, I'm going to remain LaVon, and it's going to work or it's not. And so what you saw on the show was pretty much, people have to think about when you go on a show, when you normally date, you don't really see the people you compete against. You normally go out with the young lady and that's it. If she goes out with someone else, you don't know, right? So it was a challenging thing to say, okay, there's 20 other people here. A lot of them want the same person I want. But with the show, I had no control. The women chose the men. It was Queen's Court, right? And then, so you have to maneuver that. How do you be friends with the guys, and also attract the woman you want at the same time? And I just chose authenticity, and because it's the only thing that's sustainable. Anybody else, I can't sustain that. So I have to be me.
I gotcha. And we saw you. Definitely. And at the end, you and Evelyn ended up together. How long were you engaged again?
The entire relationship was about a year. We may have been engaged about 6 or 7 months of that, something like that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Exciting ride.
And so many people will ask the question, why didn't it last?
I tell people a lot, when you date in your 40s, it's a little more challenging than in your 30s or 20s or as a teen, right? There's more conditions on the line. So with us, it was distance. She's in California. I was here. And, we traveled back and forth a lot, did vacation, things like that. But that was a challenge. My son is established here. Her son is established there. And, that was a challenge. So we sat down and had a conversation and decided to go our separate ways. But we've done, even in the relationship, a little business together. We're friends. So it's all good. But again, you have to make that decision. I think both of us, when we went on the show, we just decided to take a leap and do something different. And it was great. But you have to have that conversation when it's time to call it quits.
Gotcha. I'm glad you said that, because I can't wait for that that 40 realm of my life to come. In the sense of, you know who you are, it's like, okay, is it really going to work? Yes, we're going to make it work. If it's not, no, okay, let's just cut ties, right? Let's go our separate way. Let's not play.
Right.
Let's just go on and make things happen.
We'll have time to play. You got to.
Right. Ain't nobody got time for that.
We got kids involved. We got all kind of things.
Right. Oh, my word. And in this entire experience, though, because I know it definitely an experience for you, what did you learn about yourself that you didn't already know going into the show?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I tell people this a lot. You've never dated or anything like that and had 8 cameras follow you and then watch TV to see the effect you have on people or your mannerisms or your facial expressions. So I learned a lot about the impact or impression I have on people by the things I say, do, thoughtfulness and things like that. So that's just made me, when I know the positive impact I have, it just makes me want to get better at it. So if people think I'm thoughtful, if they think I'm poised, all these kind of things, I just try to be a better person. And that's really it. But in the process, it was fun, I'll tell you. I mean, I'm the type, I thrive in ambiguity. So I don't mind coming on set. We don't know what the dates are. They just say, hey, wear this item. And you show up and they say, okay, now that you're here, this is the date. That's really how it goes. And so I actually like that. I like showing up, not knowing what's going on, and figuring it out. I thrive on that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You're your best.
I'm low key. I'm quietly competitive. No.
It's always the quiet ones. It's always the quiet ones. Yeah. It's always the quiet ones. I can relate to that. I can definitely relate to that.
Director Ryan Givens on the Michael Finkley Show. And if you ain't tuned in here, I don't know what you doing, because this boy good.
On the next Michael Finkley, music producer Antonio Vergara is with us. Talks new music and his Latin Grammy nomination. Plus, Shelly Ray Speck is back, Think Fam. She talks about her new EP, Free Range Stories. Monday. Hello everybody, it's Finkley from the Finkley Experience. We're an educational consulting firm that specializes in first-generation education. So we assist students with their college and career endeavors. We train school administrators on the state of first-generation students. And also, we partner with colleges and universities to assist their first-generation population for easy transition from high school to college. So if you're looking for a presenter or a speaker that presents on these topics and so much more, visit our website at thefinkleyexperience.com and learn about all that we do. We're looking forward to working with you.
Hi guys, welcome to Awaken. We wanted to serve the city of Mullins. We are church owned, and we felt like a coffee shop was such a huge need in the city of Mullins. There's nowhere for people to just come, get a cup of coffee, sit with friends, maybe do some work on the laptop. And so we feel like it was a service that we could give back to the city. Well, our hope is that people will feel calm, that they'll feel welcome, that it'll be a place where they can come and just clear their mind.
We come here twice a day. That's how good their smoothies, their coffee, their lattes, frappes, delicious. Oh, I love the atmosphere here. If I had time to come and just sit and relax, I would. It's awesome.
One thing that I really love about it being here is just the cozy environment. It's so inviting. I can come in here and I can get my schoolwork done, a good coffee and a good meal. But I'm just really thankful that they're here and that I have a good place to go.
We're open Tuesday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Awaken Coffee Bar, downtown Mullins.
Oh man, and so I feel like now, because the world is opening up to who you really are, right? As a person we saw on this show, right? That you have a message and you're using your platform to deliver that message. Let's dive into this new book that will be coming out April, right? April 2024. You've been betrayed. So now what, right? And I love the 10 lessons that you have in there as well. So when you're writing this book, when I saw that this book title, right, it came up with so many different conversations, especially for men, right, in the world we live in today. Why is it so important for men to have these conversations of, health representation and, trauma and, dealing with how to deal with all that in relationships? Why is that so important?
Well, I'll tell you this, and I think, one of the chapters of the book is called that. The book title is actually The Magnetic Heart. Similar subject, and I'll break it down for you, right? But that betrayal piece is one of the chapters. And so what I decided to do, I have a branding and marketing firm. I've written a branding book. Some of my clients are like Amazon, SeaWorld, things like that. So people have asked me to write that in the past. But when I got off of this show, I was called to a different kind of realm, right? I would be called to relationship podcasts, panels, conferences for the first time, because I guess people may have just saw my perspective on the show. And what I learned is that when I would get off of stage, or if I check my DMs and things of that nature, people would tell me what they want from me. It was to my surprise. They would want to know, how do you stay poised in this situation? How do you respond this way? How do men view this? I would get just more personal calls too. And I'm like, wow, and then people directly begin to say, write a book about something that we haven't really heard about. Like, I want to know your perspective. And I began to really think like, wow, what could it be? And it's really about what we all experience, because about 70 to 80% of people in their life experience betrayal, whether we know it or not, right? So for me, it could be your parents betrayed you, Because betrayal is a couple different ways. It could be a person lying to you.
Mhm.
It could be infidelity. It could be the telling private information about you behind your back. And some people choose to maybe be toxic or negative, maybe, or it hardens them or it makes them really dark. But the magnetic heart is about, from a man's perspective, and it talks to women, but it's a man's perspective because you don't hear us open up about this. How do you get to the point where you've been hurt, betrayed, or anything like that, and you repair your heart to the point where you attract the type of person in life that you want, right? And which is something that I've done over and over and over. So it's a different spin on healing yourself and learning how to communicate and things like that. Like, how do you do it? So if you're in a bad relationship and you meet this wonderful person, you can't do that unhealed, So what do you have to do to your heart to attract that thing? And that's what it's about.
Interesting. Two lessons that came out that really stood out to me in this book that will be coming out very soon. Chapter 5, because I found myself in this title. When nice is too nice.
Everybody says that. That's my favorite title.
Why?
I'll tell you why. I think that, how can I break this down? This chapter is so deep because it's really a chapter about when a person doesn't know their value and then learning it and knowing how to use that power, right? So, and these are my personal stories. These are 10 of my personal stories. So even in my audiobook, you're going to hear scenes acted out at the top of every chapter. You're going to hear these situations acted out. But when nice is too nice is, there was a time where I didn't realize it, but I thought it was okay to say just yes to most things, to be nice, because subconsciously you think, if I'm nice to you, that's how I get it back, right? What I learned is I'm actually betraying myself when I do that, right? And my own heart, because if I don't want to do something or can't, I should just say no, right? And so if I say yes and I can't do it or deliver it or I don't want to, I'm betraying myself. And so the first thing you have to do is, how do I value myself? Who am I? How do I show up? And then how do I manifest that and how do I respond? Doesn't mean you have to say no disrespectfully, but if someone says, hey, can we go out Friday night? And I say, hey, I have to work, but let's do Saturday, and explain yourself, all these kind of things. Or if you're at work and your boss asks you to deliver more than you can, no, I can't. Here's why, but here's a solution. If you say yes and you can't do it and you get fired, you betrayed yourself, So there's a power in knowing when to say no. But yeah, when nice is too nice, that's a deep chapter. It's a good chapter. That's the one everybody points out. That's my favorite one.
Yeah. It's the title in itself. And I love the concept of no. When I was in college, I had an advisor, because I'm that person that said yes to everything, right? Despite how I felt. Yes, I'll do it, right? And she actually sat me down and wrote on a piece of paper, N-O. She's like, repeat this. And I said, no. She's like, start using it. And from that point on, just starting using it, right? Looking out for me. So, wow, a betrayal to self. That's powerful.
Yeah,
right? You don't think about it.
We all do it every day. You betray yourself every day. And, I take pride in all of anything that I'm great at or anything that I am or used to be flawed at. So I'm a guy, I'm good. I'm happy to be a guy that's nice and kind to people and thoughtful. But if you know me, I've learned the power of no. I'm pretty firm and I'm pretty decisive when I'm in an environment that doesn't work for me. So I will respectfully and nicely say, I can't do it. I'm out. Or we have to break up or whatever it may be. Nicely. You can be respectful, but I'm out,
Exactly. Because the only person who'll look out for me is me. So I gotta say no. No. Chapter 9, finding your boundaries.
Yes.
Finding your boundaries. Again, something that me personally, I'm still working on. Definitely. In connection with that no aspect. So finding your boundaries. What can we expect from this chapter?
So that's kind of evolved version of the other one, because the other one's in the middle of the book. This is towards the end where all of this culminates. So when you're talking about your boundaries, I view life like this. There's been times where I've had family, friends, relationships where if you're nice, people kind of don't see boundaries, right? They don't realize that you're nice by choice, not because you're just handcuffed, right? And so people tend to kind of push a boundary, ask, and not reciprocate. And so, and it's to the point where it could hurt you or somebody could betray you or something like that. So what I've learned, and when you're talking about the magnetic heart, to really heal that part and forgive people, sometimes people are not trying to do anything to you. It's really about them. So you have to realize that. So a person can be selfish or narcissist. They can have issues with their parents. You don't know what reason they're thugging on you. But I would say, you may have heard this before, I view relationships like an auditorium. If somebody's front row and they betray me or they interfere with a boundary, maybe I don't kick them out of the auditorium. Maybe they move to the middle or the back or something like that, right? And what that means is maybe I don't talk to you every day. Maybe I don't tell you all my secrets anymore. Maybe we don't go have a drink anymore, but I pick up the phone, but those boundaries have adjusted so I can protect myself, right? So I can be right for the next person, the next relationship. These are the things you do to heal yourself. And so after you discover when nice is too nice, it's like, all right, I got these boundaries. How do I protect them? And you hear people say a lot, I got to protect my energy. That's what that means, right? That's exactly what it means. And so you walk around liberated and figure these things out.
I gotta say, when you speak, you're so profound. You speak with wisdom.
Thank you.
You speak with experience. How do you keep your mental screwed in the sense of keeping yourself grounded, right? Because I know so many people now are coming to you from all sides. How does LaVon keep yourself grounded?
I'll tell you one simple secret. I'm always honest with myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the most important person you can be honest with. So when I say that, I've learned boundaries and things like that. If anybody knows me, I only have like 2 friends. Out of all the people I know, all the clowns I've had, 2, right? And it's been that way since high school. That's just what it is, right? So I have a very tight-knit circle. I'm slow to get into relationships when I do that. And so, and then when something goes wrong, whether that's business, relationships, even if I break a relationship off, I ask myself, could I have done something better to prevent it? You know, even if a person, let's say, cheats on me, okay, they have bad character, but did I do something to push them away? Not saying it excuses them, but maybe it's something I can work on for the next person, right? And so I always ask myself, what did I do wrong? Or I ask friends, hey, this situation happened. Can I improve on something? And that's how I remain who I am. A lot of times if I go on a date or out with a young lady, they always ask, like, how have you remained like so pure, or integrity is important to you? And I just practice these things. I don't lie to myself about what I'm good at and what I'm bad at. I'm honest about it. And if I'm bad at something, I work on it. That's the most important thing. A lot of us don't want to be accountable.
The word of the year.
Right.
The word of the year, accountability.
It's tough being accountable because you don't want to tell yourself what you're not and work on it.
Yeah.
That's the tough part.
Wow. I feel like I'm in a session on my own. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing the invoice later, okay?
Oh man, I would gladly pay. Listen, I love that. I definitely love that because again, you know, it's just time for individuals to see the real authentic themselves, right? Mm-hmm. Because how can we welcome someone in if we don't truly know, right, or continue to know who we are as individuals?
That's true. That's true.
So that's so true. Important. So
go ahead.
No, you go. No, because what you're going to say is good. So you go.
Now, I was going to say, you know, I give an example. If you don't do the work, let's say if you're a person that doesn't handle conflict well, just hypothetical, right? And you get in a relationship and you argue with people and you don't listen and you overtalk them and all these things, and you never look at yourself, you're going to get in the next one and do the same thing and do the same thing and do the same, because you was never honest with yourself. But if you were, you say, you know what, maybe I just hold my tongue next time someone disagrees with me. And you might start getting different results. And then you start healing, and then you start attracting the type of people that you actually want and have the conversations you want. And I've had to do this myself. You know, I've been impatient before, and, you know, you cut people off and you raise your voice. I'm like, you know, let me just listen. And what I do is I'll sit back and I'm poised and I listen. And when I talk, if someone cuts me off, I'll say, hey, I didn't interrupt you, right? Because now I have leverage. If I don't interrupt you, don't interrupt me. This is a way to be nice, but firm. Don't interrupt me. So, and if you don't want to hear my point, great. We can have this convo another time or never. But while we're talking, we're going to remain this way. And I give very strict demands. We either talk like this or not at all. And those are boundaries.
Oh,
I think
oh, right. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. In all that you've done, right?
Mhm.
And all that you will do, because again, you haven't seen anything yet. Watch, because you're gonna. I hope that you receive that,
I
because
do.
the best is still yet to come. Are you proud of yourself, LaVon?
I tell you, man, you have very good questions. I tell you that. I would say I am, but I suffer from, I'm hard on myself a lot too. I like to push, and just try to be great. But I am proud of what I accomplished. You know, a young guy that didn't know his father from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I've traveled the world. I've spoken at 500 conferences. I have Fortune 100 clients. You know, I have successful relationships. My son is healthy, great kid. You know, like I'm even good friends with my ex-wife, you know, friends, ex-girlfriends, things of that nature. So I pride myself on just always being a person that can enter and exit a thing with class. I try to always do that. I've even done that even when I've been betrayed. I still exit with class, you know. So I just think it's just better being a bigger person like that. So I am proud of myself for being that person. It's not easy.
Why isn't it easy?
You say, why is it not?
Mm-hmm.
To enter and exit a thing with class is what you're saying?
Well, you said it's not easy, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's not easy being that type of person, because in life, people do offend you. People do betray you. You know, things happen. So you can respond and fight fire with fire, or you can trust to just be the bigger person and know that long term it's all right. And I try to typically just do that.
I gotcha. So
It sounds cliche, but it's tough.
no, I definitely get it. I definitely understand that. So when you look in the mirror in the mornings, what words come to mind?
When I look in the mirror, most of the time, I'm just grateful, right? Because there's a lot of cases where I shouldn't have been what I'm being, but I know that God leads me there. Again, I got on TV because I got a DM. I didn't apply, you know, and then I got on the show and I literally said, and you saw the finale, I literally said, I didn't think this would work, right? I literally said it on TV. I didn't think this would work. So I'm just grateful. Wherever God wants me to go, and then I'm here. I think I'm being led to produce this book. You know, so as I go throughout life, people tell me what they kind of want, and, you know, I want to deliver it in the highest way.
Gotcha. I gotcha. I wrote a song a few years ago, Biggest Dream Come True. It's actually my theme song to my show. And I must ask you, what is your next biggest dream?
Wow. Well, you know, what I would want to do, it's a lot of different things. Like my company, I want to continue to scale it. Of course, remain healthy. I want to see my son my son play soccer, go to college, be as big as he wants to be. But one of my biggest accomplishments is all of my, I guess, in the business realm, my goals have been with, you know, one of my best friends of 24 years that we've been able to grow, scale, do different things, remain friends and things of that nature. And so I just want to scale up everything I've been doing, you know, and that's it, and diversify.
Well, it has to happen because my best friend always says, your words are listening. So it has to happen now. It definitely has to happen now. How can we purchase the book, pre-order the book, and also follow you on social media?
Sure. You can go to LaVon Lewis on Instagram, LaVonLewis, or magneticpartbook.com and pre-order. You can pre-order it now. Also, the audiobook is coming soon as well. And then you can check my company out, brandingconnected.com.
All right. You heard it here, Think Fam. LaVon Lewis, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. Think Fam, don't go away. Back in a moment.
Hi there, I am Lolita Molina. I am an actress, author, advocate, if you will, and you're watching The Michael Finkley Show.
Looking for some of the best soul food right here in Mullen, South Carolina? I promise you, come on down to Garden Alley.
grape salad fabulous, her Watergate, her potato salad, her chicken is fresh, macaroni and cheese is salted to perfection. I haven't found anything that's not great. Best ever.
Banana pudding, cakes, pies. Yeah. Selection is huge. Garden Alley is an awesome place to eat. I really love it.
Come by and see the amazing staff at Garden Alley, downtown Mullins. Are you looking for a show full of joy, comfort, and laughter? Well, watch The Michael Finkley Show, Mondays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the CTR Media Network, YouTube, and all podcast platforms.
I'm Terrell Carter. You've seen me in all those Tyler Perry plays or singing the song Father, Can You Hear Me? Or on Empire or the television show From Scratch on Netflix. And I am so delighted you are watching The Michael Finkley Show. And I'm here. Can't wait to see you.
On the next Michael Finkley, music producer Antonio Vergara is with us. Talks new music and his Latin Grammy nomination. Plus, Shelly Ray Speck is back, Think Fam. She talks about her new EP, Free Range Stories. Monday,